Hello everybody, it's Leslie from WeLoveJones.com and We Love Jones here on YouTube, and I'm coming to you with a quick video on my top 5 tips for going vegan. So this video is tailored to those of you who are curious about veganism, but you're an avid meat eater, or you just have serious reservations and just don't know can't wrap your mind around how on earth you could go vegan. So these tips are very much tailored to people who going vegan doesn't feel natural to them. So if that's you, hopefully these 5 tips will be very helpful to you. And so let's just jump right in. Tip number 1 is make what you know. So especially if you already have an existing meal plan that works for you, you should, rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, just make what you already eat. Just substitute all the non-vegan ingredients for vegan ingredients. So if you make pizza every Friday night, make them vegan pizzas. If you make meatloaf every so often, then just find a vegan meatloaf recipe that has great reviews and that requires ingredients that are affordable and that are easy to find wherever you happen to live. And much like shopping for, say, an appliance, the internet is such a great tool for finding recipes, especially when you're changing your diet so drastically, because people review everything: cookbooks, recipes, individual recipes. So you should be able to find a recipe that's got good reviews for something that you already make and just veganize it. And there's so many wonderful YouTubers that show themselves cooking recipes or veganizing some staple kind of meal. So make what you already know, just veganize it. So, and if you're easing into veganism, you're not going in 100% yet. Maybe you're just going vegan once or twice a week. Then that's perfect. But because you can kind of master 1 or 2 recipes up front before you start adding and playing with more things. And in fact, I would recommend, if you're gonna go vegan, or that you start slow, and rather than going all in, that you maybe kind of just take it a day at a time or 1 day a week, and then keep building on that success. And be prepared to maybe make some stinkers, because I've certainly come across vegan recipes that weren't successful. So it just takes a little bit of finding those vegan personalities either on YouTube or vegan bloggers or whoever that kind of has the same values you do, and finding the recipes that you like. People I follow, we follow Oh She Glows. We do a lot of Folks Over Knives cooking. I'm trying to think who else. Sarah Kramer. There's certain cookbooks that we know we can rely on. Pretty much anything they put out, we're probably going to like. So yeah. Tip number 2 is, if you're not a meal planner, you're going to need to turn into one. So like changing your diet and changing into any diet, whether you're going vegan or not, changing your eating habits probably means tossing some things out of your pantry and adding some new things that you've maybe have never cooked with before. And so because of that, because you're going to be playing with a lot of new ingredients that may seem they're just different to you, you really need to meal plan, especially because veganism means that you're probably going to be purchasing more produce than ever before, and you really can't plan ahead too many meals. You can plan ahead, but you can't purchase all the produce. You can't purchase produce for a month, because produce goes bad. So you have to become an efficient meal planner to be a successful vegan. There are ways around that, but at the beginning especially, I really feel like meal planning is going to get you further, because of the produce. And you really, to be a successful vegan, you have to embrace vegetables and a diversity of vegetables. So meal plan for those reasons. And tip number 3 is, I'm looking at my notes, tip number 3 is have a vegan backup plan. So for us, we have 2 backup plans. One is either, and this backup plan is used either because, well, really 3 reasons. 1, because we're stress eating, or 2, we tried a new vegan recipe and it was a stinker and we need to kind of rally and figure something else out. Or 3, we know a busy period is coming and we need to plan for quick and easy meals. So for us, our backup plan is either purchasing a frozen vegan pizza. Daya and Amy's Kitchen make 2 good ones that are easy to find in places like Kroger, or making a vegan pizza from scratch, because making a pizza dough doesn't take a lot of work, and it takes a little planning ahead of time, but it doesn't take a lot of work, and it's something I can crank out without having to stand in front of the cutting board chopping things for a long time. So have a backup plan for those moments when a recipe you tried just didn't work and you still have to feed people in your home. So have a backup plan that is a vegan backup plan, and your backup plan doesn't have to be pizza. Maybe you just quickly marinate some tempeh and steam some broccoli and some potatoes, and you have your protein and a starch and a vegetable. Or you quickly saute some kale and onions together as a side dish to marinated tempeh, or you go to the grocery store and you buy one of the faux meats out there. We tend to prefer Gardein. That's one of the brands we use a lot for vegan faux meat, because they don't just use tofu, they use quinoa, they use other ingredients that are high protein in their formulation. So anyway, and Gardein brand is easy to find. So have a backup plan for when just life gets hectic. Tip number 4 is if ingredients like tofu intimidate you, and if you're listening to this and you're like, what on earth is tempeh? Switching to veganism requires kind of becoming familiar with ingredients that you maybe aren't used to working with. Educate yourself a little bit on those ingredients, because there are certain things you shouldn't do to tofu. And soy-based products aren't the only thing that can be substitutes for meat. And so educate yourself on veganism and the different types of vegan, because there's raw vegan, there's paleo vegan, there's a whole bunch of there's a gradient of veganism. Veganism, its simplest definition just means no animal products of any kind, and then there are degrees of intensity within veganism. But if an ingredient like tofu intimidates you, then maybe you want to spend some time watching YouTubing personalities that show themselves cooking, like a Vegan Zombie, for example, so that you can see, how they work with tempeh, how they flavor it, and that way you become, just kind of by watching other people cook with ingredients that you're not familiar with, you will become more comfortable with it when you have these ingredients in your home. So, let's see, tip number 5. We finally got to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is keep it simple. So at first, don't choose recipes that are just overly complicated. Try to find easier, recipes that use less ingredients. My rule of thumb, less ingredients usually equals less steps, and therefore is usually easier to make. And pick simpler recipes. If you're having a hard time finding ingredients that are vegan, and you're having a hard time kind of reading labels and figuring out, because, for example, not all vegetarian faux meats are vegan. Morningstar uses egg whites in a lot of their product. So most companies, like Boca Burgers, and most Boca Burgers, not all of them, Boca and Gardein will say vegan right on the packaging. So does Tofurky. Their products often say vegan in big letters right on the packaging. But like Morningstar and some corn products, corn with a Q, Q-U-O-R-N, I think, they use egg whites and I think milk. And so there's a great website called veganuary.com, and they have great resources for new vegans so that they learn how to properly read nutritional labels, and so that they can just kind of quickly get the information they need to be a successful vegan. And so that's the website I visited a lot when I was a new to veganism. So that's it. Those are my top 5 tips for going vegan. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'm happy to have you here at We Love Jones. I blog mostly about homeschooling and our vegan lifestyle, with some just general lifestyle stuff thrown in between. And we're happy to have you. We hope you subscribe. And please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On Instagram, I mostly post what we've made for dinner. Maybe not every night, but I tend to do a lot of food posting on Instagram. And then I do more kind of cooking stuff or snacky things on Facebook. So if you're interested in knowing what vegan things we are eating and what cookbooks we're using, please follow me on Instagram. Like I said, if you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, and take care, everybody. I hope this video helped you in some small way today.